Hello. Welcome to the channel. My goal is to hit 30 subscribers this month. Can you help me by subscribing and leaving a like? Alejandro Garnacho may have switched roles at Manchester United after Wolves' goal. Manchester United beat Wolves 2-0 at Old Trafford in the Premier League to move closer to returning to the Champions League next season, but they needed an Alejandro Garnacho strike off the bench to seal the 3 points. Accelerate. Statistics show that Manchester United have had over 25 shots on target against Wolves, but the reality is that over half of those were ambitious long-range attempts and this team again failed to create many decent chances. The shoot-on-the-side approach was probably best summed up by Rafael Varane's desperate 25-yard strike midway through the first half, which only threatened the spectators to the left of the Wolves' goal. The goal they scored through Anthony Martial was a very clear opportunity, well created. Antony, Bruno Fernandes and Jadon Sancho also had good chances, the last two when the visitors chased the game. But generally, United's shots were low-level efforts that always barely went in. Part of this was due to a lack of form in the top three, but also as a result of the pedestrian pace of the build game. This is an area where United have regressed recently and it has been particularly obvious against West Ham and Wolves. The ball is moving very slowly and the opposing defenses are having time to prepare well. Midway through the second half it was Christian Eriksen who was slow to release the ball, blocking yet another attack. At that moment, Erik ten Hag raised both arms towards the pitch, clearly demanding a little more speed in United's game. It's an area they need to improve over the summer. For all the talk about needing a striker, which is clearly true, any elite number 9 will need a stockpile of chances to score goals. Impact of Garnacho. That wasn't easy for United, it never is against Wolves, but they managed to secure all 3 points with a late second goal courtesy of a dream comeback from Alejandro Garnacho. The teenager was dropped from the West Ham bench a week ago but had an opportunity here and showed composure to finish after being deflected by Fernandes in stoppage time. United never seemed to suffer, but they always want the second goal and it was Garnacho who showed the composure that the others showed, finishing off the crossbar. After the final whistle, he was cornered by Ten Hag, who exchanged a few words with him before a ruffled tousle of that bleached blonde hair. Garnacho's return to fitness is vital at this stage of the season and there is a view that he could be an impactful replacement, but with Sancho still struggling to recover and Marcus Rashford now injured he could yet force his way back into the fold. Starting 11, maybe even for the FA Cup final. Antonio does what he was hired to do. When United committed £85 million on signing Antony in the summer they wanted goals, as is expected of every striker in modern football, but they also wanted creativity and this is an area where he has struggled so far. 2 assists in 41 games leading up to Saturday was a woeful record. He can provide skillful moments in a game, but he's not enough of a threat and defenders find him relatively easy to guard. Against Wolves, he had missed United's 2 best chances before deciding to pass the mantle on to someone else. He curled a shot wide after a slip by Max Kilman and headed in Luke Shaw's cross. When Fernandes slid him towards the goal, Antonio looked to the left and placed the chance for Anthony Martial, who couldn't miss it. It was a smooth move for someone who had just missed the game's best chance. Many players in that position would have shot, but the Brazilian knew he had a simple pass to a teammate in an even better position. But that point about consistency was reinforced a few minutes later when he made a brilliant move from inside his own half but left Jadon Sancho plenty of time to play and saw an excellent attacking opportunity fall through. Shaw back left. Just as Shaw has done at halfback recently, there was an obvious problem. United missed him at left back. They've had to reckon with an out-of-position Diogo Dalot or an inconsistent Tyrell Malacia in recent weeks and there's been a dip in quality. Shaw is much better at these left tackles than Malacia and has 2 provocative crosses in the first 30 minutes. The first was too high for Martial and the second gave Antony a chance, who somehow headed over the crossbar. In a team that seems desperately lacking in goals and creativity, having Shaw back and in a position where he can create chances could be crucial during the matchup. The return of Solskjaer. There were many cameras pointed at the director's box just before kickoff, waiting for a sighting of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as he took his seat. This was the first time he has returned to Old Trafford since being sacked in November 2021 and, if there is any doubt, his standing with supporters has not been dented by the way his reign ended. Solskjaer was back in Manchester for a talk this week and the crowd heard his anecdotes from his time as a player and manager. 8 minutes into the Wolves game, Stretford End had heard 2 of his chants from Solskjaer. He is still adored by fans. Hope you enjoyed the video. What position would the player go to? Leave your opinion in the comments. If you came here, leave your like and subscribe to the channel.